morning. It's what is it? A few days after Thanksgiving, and I'm all on to get ready for Christmas. I've already uploaded, as you may have seen on Thursday. I didn't get it up till Thanksgiving Day, but I did a little silent, slow TV knitting of the Christmas hat, the Christmas pudding hat, which is right here. This is unblocked, by the way, so this will grow. Make sure you realize that when you knit out a superwash, it's going to grow at blocking a little bit. But here's the Christmas hat, and I said at the time, these wrinkles will go out clearly. I said at the time that I was going to show you slowly how to make the holly leaves and the berries on today's video. So I'm going to show you how to do that because I now have a fancy dancy piece of equipment that goes over my hands and makes this much easier. But I'll show you how to do this. Now, do you want these just to decorate your hat? No, of course not. You can use these and make garlands along your fireplace, along your walls, around your Christmas tree. You'd have to make a lot of them, but you can make a garland. You could do a little Christmas wreath out of these. Any number of little garnishes could be decorated. Little at the base of a candle. Be careful with fire, though. All that can be used just with these little garnishes. And each of these, this whole setup takes about 10 yards of green and about probably 6 yards. But I'm giving, in the kits that I'm making for the hat, I'm giving you 10 yards of this and 10 yards of this. So rule of thumb, 10 yards of each of these will get you a set of leaves and berries, probably with some extra. So without further ado, let's get started. You will need about 10 yards of worsted weight green yarn. You will need about 10 yards of worsted weight green yarn. I'm going to start with the berries because it's the easiest one. Let me switch to my hands and we'll get started. Oh, you also need double pointed needles. These are, I think, I don't know what size these are. These are some old ones I found next to my chair. It says size 6, but I recommend size 8. You'll get a little bit looser item, but between 6 and 8, whatever your gauge is. All right, the magic of this is I-cord. So 6 inches, I'm going to cast on 6 stitches, long tail, 6 stitches onto my double pointed needle. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And you can cast on whatever way you want. It doesn't matter. And because this is an I-cord, my tail's coming out here. I am going to knit my first row across. So it's just a knit for 6 stitches. And on my first row, don't know if you've noticed this, you could, if you look hard on the video from 3 days ago, you could see that I do it. Whenever I do my first row, I knit through the back loop. I like the way the edge comes out, and it's also just easier to get through the stitch. That's also because I cast on left-handed, and you may have noticed that. All right, so I have my 6 stitches on my needle. My tail's here. Normally I would turn my work, but for an I-cord you don't. You slide it back over to the beginning, and you just pull this back across to knit your next row. So knit this next row. And 2 stitches in, I'm just going to give it a tug, but you will have a string back there. Don't worry about it. When we cast this off, we're going to pull this tight, and it'll just disappear. So I just finished. I'm going to slide it back to the beginning of my needle, and I'm going to knit it again. And I'm going to do this for 6 rows. So cast on 6 stitches, knit for 6 rows. This is row 3. Row 3. Slide it back, and you can see my ladder up the back? Perfectly fine. Don't worry about it. Row 4. I'm trying to tug it as tight as I can, but it's no big deal. Those are all going to disappear. Row 4. And I almost think you could use an I-cord machine. I don't know if you've seen those, but it's almost not worth it because this is 6 rows and by the time you got that thing set up, you'd be cutting it off all the time, and it would be a pain in the backside. You'd be doing more time setting up than you are knitting. But isn't that the case with a lot of technology? There's row 5. Or have I already done 6? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, that's 6. Or at least that's what my... So, again, you have ladders in the back where I wrapped it around. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to cut a little bit of a tail with giant scissors that happen to be sitting next to me. Cut a little bit of a tail. Put my needle down. I'm going to get my darning needle. I don't know about you, but do you have next to your chair just kind of a mass of tools for your work? I do. I have like a little tray. It's very messy now, or I'd showed you. I have a tray of pins and needles and scissors and a pencil case. And all right, I'm going to slide this to the end, and I'm going to take this darning needle and feed it through, just like I'm doing another row. I'll make another ladder this way. Through the second one, through the third one, through the fourth one, and fifth, and sixth. Pull that through. So there's my, just like you would close the top of a hat. All right, so there's that. I'm going to pull on both of these, and then I'm going to take this top one. I'm going to take this top one, and I'm going to put it down to the bottom. So I'm going to fold my work. There's my 6th row. I'm going to fold my 6th row down to my 1st row, or my cast on edge. And I am going to stitch through there and through there. And this is sort of blending those two openings together. And I'm going to pull tight. And look what it did. I have a berry. I have a little berry. And I can, you know, I can gather this up, maybe pull the stitches over here just to get it less square. Pull it tight. There, I've got a nice little berry. And then what I do is I take this and I tie it in a surgeon's knot. A surgeon's knot is just like you would tie your shoe, only you wrap it around twice. So once, twice, and then pull it tight. And then the other one, the other side, once, twice, or the other tail, pull it tight. That is a knot that's never going to come loose. And I have a berry. That's exactly how you do it. All right, now let's move on to let's wrap my mess of a yarn back up. I do need 3 of these, so you will repeat this 2 more times to get your 3 berries. Now I'm going to move on to my leaf. And I'm going to have to get my pattern out for my leaf because that one I had to write down. But basically, it's a garter stitch leaf. You start with a cast on of 2. 1, 2. My slip stitch and my thing. And I'm going to knit across that twice. So, and remember I told you I knit through the back loop because I cast on lefty. 1, 2. There we go. And then I'm going to knit back twice. And then I'm going to go grab my pattern so I can follow these directions for you. Knit across twice. There we go. Tuck it up tight. That gives me a little stem to balance that with. All right, let's go get that pattern. All right, now I'm going to do an increase stitch. So knit 1, and I just do a yarn over at this point because I'm at the base of the leaf. A yarn over, knit 1, and that was my increase. So now I'm up to 3 stitches. Turn my work, knit 1. How many of you have trouble with your hair getting into your work? Knit 1 and then purl 1. And then knit 1. And we're going to do that consistently. We knit, it's a garter stitch leaf, but there's a purl 1 at the middle at all of the leaves. And that gets you the back of your leaf and this fold or the stem line up the center, and it makes the leaf folded, if you can see that. See how it gives it a little bit of a fold? That's why I'm doing that purl one up the center. And I just sort of made this up. I was practicing and I tried things out and I made a whole bunch of leaves and eventually came up with this one. All right, purl one, knit one, turn, and then we're going to knit one, make one left, knit one, make one right. And I don't know if you've seen that before, but I'll see if I can show you that one. So there's a knit one. Now, to make one left, we're going to go to the left side of my work, and I'm going to pick that up, and I'm going to twist it, and I'm going to the mother stitch, by the way, just at the base of that yarn over. I twist it, and I stick it on my needle, and then I knit through the back loop. And the reason I'm doing that is to get a nice twist on that stitch so that it is really tight and you don't end up with a hole. I'm also going to knit through the back loop of the main stitch, and then we knit one right. So we're going to go down to the mother stitch or the collar of the center stitch on the other side, right there. And then I'm going to twist it. This time I just knit through the front, and that creates the twist. Knit that and knit the last stitch. There, I've increased again. Now I have 5 stitches on my needle. 5 stitches on my needle. Okay, and then we're going to turn. We're going to turn, and we're going to knit 2, purl 1 to maintain that center line, knit 2. There is that row. And see, my leaf is growing, and that little hole is that initial yarn over. All right, we turn, and then we're going to knit 5. Knit 5 across. 1, more hair, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 5. And then we're going to, now, this is to make the nodules. I'm going to show you this technique to make. It's the little knobbies on the edge of a holly leaf. So right here, it's not quite as pokey as a holly leaf, but it gives you little sort of nodules. Let's see if I can get this to focus on you. It gives little knobs along the side to give you the feel of a holly leaf. So the way that you do that is we're going to knit front, we're going to knit back, and we're going to knit front again, like that. So I've just turned 1 stitch into 3 stitches. Take that off, and then we're going to just take these 2 stitches, and that's noted in the pattern as P2 SSO. So we're going to pass that one over, and then we're going to pass the second one over. And I've just made a bobble on the edge of my work. And then we're going to knit 1, we're going to purl 1, we're going to knit 1, and then we're going to do the same thing on this outside edge. So we're going to go knit front, knit back, knit front again, and I've got them on there. Now I can't pass this off yet, so I've got to turn my work first. Then we're going to P2. We're going to slip these 3 stitches onto this needle. 1, 2, 3, and then I'm going to do my P2 SSO. Pass 2 slip stitches off. So 1, 2, and this provides me with just a little bump on either side. All right, knit 4. So we're going to knit the 4 remaining stitches. I tell you what, I'm shedding today. I've got hair showing up in this everywhere. I probably need to vacuum the couch or something because it's either coming out of my head or it's just surrounding me. How many of you have that problem? Are you shedders? I'm just a horrible shedder. All right, that's the back of our leaf because you can see the knit stitches going up, and the front of the leaf is right there. We still have some more increases to do. All right, 2, 4, 6. Oh. Turn. Ooh, I just found a mistake that needs to be fixed on this pattern. So we need to knit 5, turn. Oh, it's time to make one right and left again. So we're going to knit 1, we're going to knit 2, make 1 right, so we're going to pull that up, twist it, knit through the back loop, knit the center stitch, pick up this one over here, also knit through the back loop or make sure it's twisted, and then knit to the edge. There. Let's hope I didn't mess that up. No, that center one. All right, let's undo that. We should have done a purl in there. So this one should have been a purl. Go back. So knit 2, make 1 left, purl 1, make 1 right, purl 1, make 1 left, and this will be written in the instructions, which will be in the comments below, and then knit the last 2 off. There. Now we have our increase to 7. Here we're going to knit 7 across because we've increased our leaf out again. Knit 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. And it's time for another bump. So again, knit front back, knit front, knit back, knit front again, and then pass these 2 over the stitch. Okay, and then we're going to knit, knit, purl, knit, knit, knit front back, knit, front back, and front again. Turn my work, slip my stitches off, slip 1, slip 2, slip 3, and then let's get my yarn in the back. Slip 3, and then take the first and second stitch and pass them over the third, and then knit across. There we go. Get my instructions caught up to all right, looks like we're going to increase 1 more time and then we start doing our decreases. So there's our leaf so far. That's the back, that's the front. Here's the front, bottom of the leaf. We're going to do 1 more increase, so going to knit to the center, knit 3, make 1 left, this should be a purl, make 1 right, make sure I get that whole stitch, and then knit to the end. There we go. And then we're going to turn our work and we're going to knit across. Turn work, knit across, knit, 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 all the way across. There we go. Time for another bobble. So we're going to knit front, back, knit front, knit front, knit back, knit front again, pass the first 2 stitches over the third, there, and then knit 1, 2, knit 3, and then we're going to purl, then we're going to knit 3, 1, 2, 3, and then again knit front, knit back, knit front, turn our work, make sure my yarn's in the back first of all, And then we're going to pull these first 3 stitches off. 1, 2, 3. And we're going to pass the first 2 over the third. 1, 2. There we go. Another knobble. And then this is knit across. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, it's time to start our decreases now. There's my leaf. Looks much bigger on camera from this direction. All right, so now we're going to start decreasing. So we are going to, and this one will have a purl in the middle still. So we're going to knit 1. We're going to knit 2 together. Then we're going to knit another one. We're going to purl 1. We're going to knit 1. We're going to slip, slip, knit. Ooh, let's make sure we did that right. Yep, that's right. We're going to slip, slip, knit, and we're going to knit 1 on the very edge here. There. And we've done a single decrease. Turn my work, yarn in back. It's time for another knobble. So we're going to knit front, back, knit front, knit back, knit front. Pass these 2 over the first, and if you're really good, you can do it at the same time, but it's fiddly, so I often do them separately. Knit across to the last stitch. Knit front, knit back, knit front again. There. Turn your work. Put the yarn in back and slip these 3 stitches off. 2, 3, and then slide these over the top. 1, 2, and we have another knobble. I'm going to knit 2, 1, 2, purl 1, knit 2, this last one, because we just did that on the first row. There. And the leaves progress. All right, we're going to do one more pass here with one more decrease. So knit 1, decrease, so knit 2 together, knit 1, slip, slip, knit, knit 1, there we go, turn work, knit across, well actually knit 2, purl 1, knit 2, purl 1, knit 2, turn work. We'll do that again one more time. Now we can decide whether we're going to decrease or not. Let's go down here, knit 3, turn. Yeah. All right, I think, do I need another knobbly? No more knobblies. All right, so we're going to knit 1. We're going to knit 2 together. We're coming down to the end now. We're going to slip, slip, knit. And now I'm down to 3 stitches. 3 stitches. Right there. Turn work. Knit 2 together. Knit 1. There we go. And we have leaf. So now I'm going to cut my yarn. And I'm going to, I could just bind this off, but I decided to run this through my live stitches. And an alternative way to do that, instead of a darning needle, which is fast, but if you're lazy like me, what I do is, if I don't want to figure out where my darning needle is, I knit, but pull it through. And then I go to the next one, and I knit, but pull it through. There. And then I pull that tight, and that gives me a pointy tip. I then hide this thread but leave the cast on thread because that's how you're going to get it attached to your hat. And then, see, you have a holly leaf and you have a berry. Ooh, let's get this into focus. You have a holly leaf and you have a berry. 2 more berries, 1 more holly leaf, and you have, well, I have 3 leaves because I attached one of my trial ones that didn't come out right. You have a little setup. I just need to add this berry onto this one, and I used a smaller yarn here. There, I have berry. See, there's 2 berries. Just make a 3rd berry and I'll have my little set. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope it was useful. Let's push this up. There you go. I hope this was useful to you. Decorate your house with it and send me photos. You can post them on Instagram to Black Sheep BSFE or Black Sheep Fiber Emporium, and do a hashtag, and then that'll go to our feed and I can see what you've done if you make holly leaves. If you're interested in the Christmas pudding hat, you now have all you need to do the garnish. And then the hat instructions you can get at Black Sheep Fiber Emporium. And you can order kits. I'll send you 1/3 of a skein of the brown yarn, half a skein of the brown yarn, half a skein of the cream/white yarn, and then 10 yards each of the the green and the red. And then you too can make your own Christmas pudding hat. I also am about to release kid sizes for these. So if you want to make this for your kids or your grandkids, you can. I believe half a skein of each is enough to do an adult and a child size hat, because I've been making these like crazy and I'm just getting through 1 skein. So you will have plenty of yarn for both of those. I don't want to guarantee it because, you know, I want to give you extra in case your tension does not quite match mine. But enjoy. Have a Merry Christmas. Hopefully you're ready, right? Christmas pudding. Who doesn't love it? I much prefer to wear it than eat it. All right. I'll see you on Wednesday. Bye.